The river thundered like a furious dragon, devouring everything in its path. Cars flipped like toys, ancient trees ripped from the earth like weeds. Amid the swirling nightmare of floodwaters, a lone white single dad in his late 30s locked eyes on a desperate woman clinging to a half-submerged stop sign, her fingers slipping inch by inch. Without a second's thought, his boots plunged into the freezing torrent, ignoring the frantic screams of strangers begging him to turn back. His young son watched wide-eyed from the safety of their truck bed, heart pounding as Dad hauled the stranger from the jaws of death. Hold on tight, folks, this is the kind of heart-pounding tale that keeps you up at night. Brought to you by Midnight Tales, your go-to channel for gripping stories that blend heroism, mystery, and unbreakable bonds. Before we plunge deeper into this whirlwind of danger and destiny, smash that like button if you're hooked already, drop a comment below with where you're tuning in from, maybe from a cozy couch or under the covers, and hit subscribe to Midnight Tales for more edge-of-your-seat adventures that make your pulse race. Let's dive in. Ethan Cole's lungs burned as he dragged the drenched woman onto the slick asphalt, her body limp and shivering against the relentless downpour. She was ghostly pale, gasping like a fish yanked from the deep, her hands clutching her chest as if trying to trap the air inside. "You're okay now," Ethan rasped, his strong hand pressing firmly against her back to steady her ragged breaths. His 9-year-old son, Noah, bolted forward from the truck, clutching a wool blanket he'd snatched from the back seat. "Dad, she's gotta be freezing." Noah's voice cracked with worry, but his small hands were rock steady as he wrapped the blanket around her trembling shoulders. The woman hacked up a lungful of murky water, her emerald eyes finally focusing on Ethan's rugged face, wide with shock and gratitude. You jumped in there for me," she whispered, her voice raw and broken like shattered glass. Ethan shook his head, water dripping from his soaked hair, his tone gruff yet laced with that quiet warmth that made him the kind of guy neighbors trusted. "Couldn't just stand by. Wouldn't sit right with my conscience." Sirens pierced the chaos in the distance, growing louder as help finally arrived. Onlookers slapped Ethan's back, calling him a hero, but his mind was locked on the mystery woman in his arms, terrified, yet somehow relieved, like she'd escaped more than just the flood. He knew nothing about her, no name, no backstory, zilch. But in that raw instant, saving her wasn't a decision, it was pure gut instinct, the kind that defines a man. As the ambulance screeched to a halt, paramedics rushing over with stretchers and blankets, she suddenly gripped Ethan's arm like a lifeline. "No hospitals," she murmured fiercely, her soaked strands plastered to her face, her eyes flashing not just fear, but a bone-deep desperation that sent chills down his spine. Ethan furrowed his brow, concern etching his features, but he didn't argue. He just helped her to her feet, guiding her with a gentle yet firm touch toward the waiting medics. By the time the crowd dispersed and the waters receded into memory, Ethan figured that was the end of it, a fleeting encounter swallowed by the storm. But her lingering gaze as the ambulance doors closed, like she had 1,000 unsaid words burning on her tongue, haunted him through the sleepless night. Dawn broke weakly over Ethan's humble porch the next morning, casting golden fingers across the weathered wood, chasing away the shadows but not the turmoil in his head. Barefoot and clutching a steaming coffee mug, he stared out at the ravaged neighborhood, replaying the rescue on an endless loop. The flood had claimed homes, vehicles, and even lives, but all he could see were those haunted green eyes, hiding a terror that went way beyond drowning. Noah shuffled out from the kitchen, blanket draped over his shoulders like a superhero cape, rubbing sleep from his eyes. "Dad, you look like you didn't sleep a wink," he mumbled, his voice soft with concern. Ethan mustered a weary grin, ruffling his boy's messy hair. "Just keeping watch, kiddo. Nothing to worry about." But his thoughts were miles away from breakfast routines. That's when the knock came, sharp, urgent, nothing like a neighbor's casual rap. Ethan's heart skipped as he set down his mug and swung open the door. There she stood, the woman from the flood, transformed, hair dry and tousled, face still pale but now framed by a crisp coat that screamed out of place for a disaster survivor. Her eyes flicked to Noah peeking curiously from behind, then locked back on Ethan, vulnerability cracking her composure. "We need to talk," she said, her voice a low plea that carried the weight of secrets. Ethan glanced over his shoulder. "Noah, buddy, finish up your cereal. I'll be right outside." The boy sensed the electric tension, hesitating before nodding and vanishing back inside. Ethan stepped out, pulling the door shut with a soft click. "You shouldn't be up and about," he said, his tone steady but edged with worry. "You nearly drowned last night. Rest up." She cut him off, fingers twisting the hem of her coat like she was unraveling inside. "I have to explain. My name's Claire. And last night, you didn't just save some random stranger. You waded into a nightmare you never asked for." Ethan arched an eyebrow, arms crossing over his broad chest. "I didn't wade into anything. Saw a life slipping away and couldn't watch it happen." Her lips quivered, tears threatening. "You don't get it. There are people after me, dangerous ones. If they track me here." She swallowed hard, the words hanging like a noose. "They'll come for you. And your son." The morning air turned icy, Ethan's gut twisting as he searched her face for deception. But all he found was raw, unfiltered fear. "Then you gotta go," he said heavily, jaw set like stone. "If this is real, being around us paints a target on our backs." "I know," Claire whispered, eyes glistening under the sun's weak rays. "That's why I'm here, to warn you." But she paused, meeting his gaze with fierce intensity. "And because after what you did, I can't just vanish. You saved my life, I won't let it destroy yours." Ethan rubbed the back of his neck, torn between skepticism and his fierce protective instincts. "You're saying pulling you from that mess turned my kid and me into targets?" Claire flinched at his sharp tone but nodded. "Yes. Last night wasn't random. I was fleeing them when the flood hit." Her voice cracked, the burden of her hidden world pressing down. Ethan leaned against the porch rail, staring at the mud-caked street, scars from the deluge still fresh. "This sounds like a bad movie. Why should I buy it?" "I don't expect you to," she replied softly. "But I owe you the truth, and a choice." From her pocket, she pulled a crumpled photo, edges worn from endless handling, and pressed it into his palm. Ethan unfolded it slowly, a younger Claire beside a sharp-suited man, a sleek black car with tinted windows looming behind them like a shadow. "That guy's Victor Hale," she whispered, finger trembling as she pointed. "Looks like a big-shot philanthropist, but he's running a massive money-laundering empire. I know because I worked for him, and uncovered proof that could topple it all." Ethan's pulse raced. He'd seen Hale on the news, schmoozing with politicians, untouchable as they come. The photo reeked of power plays and peril. He refolded it, handing it back. "This could blow up my whole world. I never wanted that," Claire choked out, voice fracturing. "But you risked everything for a nobody like me. No one's done that in years." The door creaked open, Noah poked his head out, curiosity mingling with unease. "Dad, who is she?" Ethan's heart squeezed. He knelt, hand on his son's shoulder. "Just someone I helped last night, champ. She's saying thanks." Claire's expression softened at the boy's innocence, but Ethan's glare silenced her. "Head back in, okay? I'll join you soon." Once alone again, Ethan's voice dropped to a razor edge. "I don't know your world, but mine's simple: keep Noah safe. If this is legit, vanish, now." Claire shook her head, tears spilling. "I can't. They know I survived. They'll storm in, no mercy." Ethan's instincts roared to slam the door, but her broken desperation tugged at something deeper. "You're asking me to gamble my son's life for yours," he bit out. "No," she countered, eyes fierce through the tears. "I'm offering to risk mine to shield his." Her words struck like thunder, silence enveloping them until a low engine rumble shattered it. Heads whipped toward the street, a black SUV crept by, windows black as night. Claire paled like death. "Oh God, they're here." Ethan's knuckles whitened on the rail. In that heartbeat, his ordinary life dissolved, the flood, the rescue, all leading to this storm. The SUV prowled like a shark, unseen eyes scanning. Ethan's blood thundered, but he kept cool. "Inside, now," he commanded, yanking Claire by the arm. "If they spot me entering, they'll know. Too damn late." He shoved her through, bolting the door. Noah froze at the table, spoon midair, confusion etched deep. "Dad, what's happening?" Ethan dropped to one knee, hiding his inner chaos. "Pack a bag quick, buddy, just clothes and your fave toy. We're taking a little adventure." Noah's brow furrowed. "Leaving home?" Ethan forced a reassuring smile, tousling his hair. "Yeah, fun trip. Go on." As Noah scampered upstairs, Ethan whirled on Claire, voice slicing like a blade. "Spill everything. Now." Her breath caught. Victor's facade is perfect, charity galas, senator handshakes. But underneath, he's laundering millions for the worst kinds. I stole files, names, accounts, enough to bury him. Cops are compromised, so I bolted. She raked hands through her hair. Thought the flood might end it for me. Until you. Ethan's jaw clenched, Hale's name rang bells, untouchable elite. "So now they think you're with me." Guilt flooded Claire's eyes. "I'm so sorry. Never meant to drag you in." The engine hum swelled, Ethan peeked, another SUV joined, circling like vultures. "They're scouting," Claire whispered. "If they grab me, they'll wipe out anyone linked. You included." Ethan shut his eyes, visions of Noah flashing, his late wife's dying plea echoing, "Protect our boy." Eyes snapping open, resolve hardened like forged steel. "We don't wait for them." Claire blinked. "What?" Ethan rifled the hall closet, hauling out a dusty duffel with his old hunting rifle inside. He checked it swiftly. "We bolt before they pounce." "You can't fight this," she hissed. Not planning a war, he shot back, icy calm. "But I won't let my son be bait." Noah bounded down, backpack bulging, stuffed dog peeking out. His eyes darted between them, sensing the unspoken dread. "Dad. Bad guys outside." Ethan hugged him tight. "Trust me, always." "Always?" Claire's voice trembled. "If we run, they'll hunt. Maybe I surrender." "No way," Ethan snarled. "You've got dirt on Hale. We use it to torch him. But safety first." Her eyes widened at his fire. "Why help?" Ethan met her gaze, raw truth blazing. "Because saving you tied our fates. I won't let that doom my kid." A car door slammed outside, Ethan spied two suited thugs emerging, radios crackling, eyes sweeping. Back door, woods lead to the mill road. He seized Noah's hand and the bag. "Move." Claire followed, heart hammering. They burst into the kitchen, out the back, crisp air biting as they dashed across the yard into the dense trees. Branches whipped, mud clung, voices echoed behind, doors crashing, boots pounding. "Claire." A thug bellowed. "End this easy, maybe we spare the kid." Ethan's rage boiled, he clutched Noah closer, jaw aching from clenching. Claire whirled, face ashen. "They'll leverage him. Let me go." "Hell no," Ethan growled. "No more running. Time to fight smart." She shook her head. "How?" Ethan's eyes gleamed fiercely. "Predators hate when prey strikes back." He knelt to Noah. "Remember Wood's hide and seek. This is it, for real. Stay close, quiet. Run when I say." Noah nodded bravely. "Got it, Dad." Men's footsteps crunched nearer. Ethan herded them behind a toppled log, hearts thundering in unison. The forest froze, tension thick as fog. Then Ethan whispered, fierce as a storm, "Time to turn the tables." They melted deeper into the shadows, the chase igniting a fire in Ethan's soul. He'd protect his family, expose the shadows, and rewrite their fate. But as bullets of doubt pierced his mind, one truth shone: in the dead of night, heroes rise, and on Midnight Tales, we bring those legends to life. Stay tuned for more twists that keep you guessing till dawn.